this episode, unfortunately, 2 of our cars have been sold, but we have a brand new one that's very special. But more on that later. Alright guys, it has been an extremely busy summer for drift games. We came back from Mondello at Drift Masters, built an entire pro car, the V8 S13, in just 2 weeks, put on a truck, went to Riga. Came back from Riga, straight into the AZ1, which has to be finished in a week's time for the Gravity show. Now, that's pretty intense because building 2 cars in 3 weeks, especially one being a pro car, has pretty much been non-stop late nights. But behind the scenes, there's been other things going on too. And you mightn't have seen me in the last couple of videos because I've been working on what you're about to see in this video. Now, money. That's something that everybody talks about on the internet, and of course, because we have a YouTube channel, we have infinite money. That isn't really how it works. We are a small 9-person team here at HQ in Ireland, and we're trying our best to make big dreams happen. The first dream was putting a team on the grid for Drift Masters with myself driving alongside Connor Falvey. So, you know, one of the oldest drivers and one of the youngest drivers. It's been a lot of fun, but it hasn't been easy. Connor's been getting amazing success. I've been struggling, but there's been a lot of ups in the budget. So the first round straight off the bat in Italy was cancelled. That cost us 20 grand, for example, just to take the trucks there to have no event. Since then, we've had breakages and gearboxes and engines and crashes, and it's been a lot of money. Drift Masters is an extremely high-level motorsport, and it's been kind of probably 100% over budget so far this year. But we want to finish the season out in style, and we want to make sure we get to Germany and Poland, so we've had to make some cuts, and those cuts come in the form of cars, which we've sold, which you'll see in a moment, which is something we didn't want to do, but it's all part of the process of a bigger dream, right? So my dream was to go to Drift Masters. Josh's dream was to build the AZ1, and that has also run way over time and way over budget, and you'll see why in all the videos and when we finish that car. But it's a dream, and that's what you gotta do. You gotta make sacrifices to make your dream come true. And the third one is DG Sportsland. We announced at the start of the year that we were going to build our own track in Mondello Park, and progress has been slow and now fast, but it has also run way over budget, and we want to make sure that that track is as awesome as it can be, looks and feels awesome and drives awesome, and people have an amazing time at that place. But that's going to take time, and it's going to take money. We're hoping to get that track finished and opened by our Drift Games Winter Bash in November. We've got a lot of work to do in October and November to make that happen. So with all of those things, the budgets have been rising, and your support when it comes to buying merchandise and our sponsor support has been amazing. But we are trying to do things all at the one time, which again is probably my ADHD and probably being too ambitious, but we need to see all these things out because we promised we would do them. So we've had to sell 2 cars, and we have another car, which you saw earlier, that's coming to the channel, and you're probably going to be confused about that, but we'll get to that. So before we get into anything else, we're going to have to rip the band-aid off, and we're going to have to show you the 2 cars that are leaving the Drift Games garage today. So it's a sad day at Drift Games. 2 cars are leaving the garage and have been sold, and they're 2 cars I definitely didn't want to sell, and I wouldn't have sold unless we needed to put the funds into something else. And as you can see, Craig Coleman Automotive is here because he is delivering them to a dealer in the north of Ireland, Elite Autos Northern Ireland, who are selling the cars. They bought them from me to resell, and the first, it's a sad one because it's the car that never really got a chance. The 20 valve Corolla that we picked up off JDM Garage. This was my perfect A86, but it's just got to go. It's such a cool car, 20 valve Link. I never really got to drive it, I never really got to do anything with it. So I think maybe the sentimentality might not be there a little bit, so we are letting this car go. I will get another A86 down the line, but needs must, as I explained in the video, and this car is being sold. One that does have sentimental value, one that I really didn't want to have to sell, is the car we built from scratch on the channel last December, and it's this, the R33 Pandem. I think one of the nicest looking R33s in the world. I think Josh, Craig, Joey O'Neill, everybody who put their heart and soul into this car absolutely smashed it, and it's just absolutely amazing. However, it is finished and done, and when cars are finished and done, well, you're not going to do a whole lot more with them in terms of modification. We brought it to Drift Masters, we brought it all across Europe, we showed tons of fans this car, and now it is kind of just sitting there, and we're not too sure what to do with it, so it has to be on the chopping block. And it's also sold to Elite Autos Northern Ireland, so both cars are going to be advertised on their website for sale. I'll put a little link down the bottom. And yeah, not fun, really would love to keep both of these cars, but we're a small company and we can't just hoard cars, we can't just collect them. We have bigger plans and bigger dreams, and sometimes you got to make really, really tough decisions and let things go. So it's a little bit sad that they're going, and hopefully I can pick up something similar down the line when we're under less pressure. But for the moment, these two are going, and look at Craig's face. Many a night, Craig, welding and cutting and chopping this thing, but it turned out great.
Yeah, looks great, but now they're gone.
Now is our time to move on, and Craig's like me, he does buy and sell a bit of stuff as well, but I'm happy that Craig can take it for its last spin up to the north. So now I'm going to turn away, not look, and they're going to leave Drift Games Clubhouse, and I won't see them. Well, hopefully I'll see them at a show down the line, but yeah, sad times. So, 2 cars sold, and you might be wondering, why would I sell the 86 or the R33 and not sell the S13, which has been sitting up here in the balcony for about 6 months? Hasn't moved, nothing's happened. This would be the ideal thing to sell, right? Well, no, because this car always had a big plan. And you guys probably guessed it along the way. In the fire, which is about 1.5 years ago now, I lost my favorite Sylvia in the world, the Spirit Ray S13. It's my favorite Sylvia I've ever seen. I used to have it as a screensaver on my computer. I eventually saved up and bought the car, and unfortunately, it perished in the fire. So my plan was always to build a second, version 2 of the Spirit Ray S13, but much bigger, badder, faster, better than the first. And the plan was to do that with this car. And the plan was to do that for Gravity, which is in a week's time. I bought a kit. The kit was very far away. It got stuck in a container, and that container got delayed by 4 weeks. So basically, we were going to build this car, and I was going to have a really cool reveal at Gravity, but it wasn't to be. So we're now going to move this down the line to the LZ World Tour in Ireland, where we are going to reveal version 2 of the Spirit Ray S13, which left me a bit sad because I didn't have a car to reveal at Gravity because this one didn't happen. And I've just sold 2 of my cars, which I would love to bring to Gravity, but they're gone. And Josh is building a very cool AZ1, and I don't really have anything to show for it. So I was a bit sad. I always like, me and Josh revealing cars together, but obviously telling you guys we don't have the budget, we don't have the funding, and we don't have the kits, we're kind of stuck, right? Or are we? So unfortunately, I'm not going to be building any cool car to reveal at Gravity. Or am I? Because I had a bit of a moan about this, and our friends at Lucky Day Competitions came in trumps. They basically said, well, what if we bought the car, you guys modified it, revealed it at Gravity, and then at Gravity, we opened a competition where one of the fans can win the car. And I was like, that's perfect. I love buying cars, I love modifying them, and I kind of love the idea of someone getting the car at the end and driving it every day. Now, this was a great idea about 6 weeks ago, because that's when I ordered the body kit for the car that's under the cover over there. But that body kit got delayed by 4 weeks. So now we have 72 hours to build a car for Gravity, and I'm not exaggerating that, from start to finish, get it to the UK and reveal it. Which sounds ridiculous, it is ridiculous. I haven't even told Neil and Josh about this because I kind of told them this plan would never work, but now I kind of feel like we can make it work. So before we get into it, I'm going to show you what the car is. And the best thing about this is that this is a car that I've been wanting to modify on this channel since it started. This is a 6-year dream to do one of these cars, and we found an absolute minter. So any guesses what it is? Well, it's long, it's very low, it's rear-wheel drive, obviously, it's Drift Games, and it's very exotic. This is what we're building alongside the AZ1 for Gravity. This is exciting because I never thought we'd ever have one of these on the channel, ever. And it's in the right color and the right spec. And we're going to do a lot of stuff. I'm delaying. You ready? Here we go. Ladies and gentlemen, say hello to our 1991 Honda NSX. How good does this look? This is the ultimate Gran Turismo spec car. We all played at the PlayStation with these NSXs. I've never had one anywhere around us, and it is such a wild car. Now, it's completely standard, it's completely stock. If you're a purist, I advise, look, we'll see you later, take care. We'll see you, maybe wait 3 or 4 episodes before you come back, because if you're a purist, you're not going to enjoy the next part of this build. We want to do a 1 of 1. We want to wide body this with a Liberty Walk kit. We want to give it wheels, we want to give it suspension, we want to give it an exhaust, a new interior, and basically make it look like the most badass NSX on the planet. In 72 hours, mind you. Now, for the last 6 weeks, I've ordered the kit. I've ordered the wheels, the suspension, and some upgrades. The only problem is, for the last week and a half, Neil and Josh have been at the shed working on the AZ1. And they're pretty tired. And that AZ1 has gone for paint about an hour ago, meaning that it comes back in 3 days, and on the 4th day, has to go to Gravity. And for the 3 days we have remaining after Germany, we have to build this from scratch. So today, we're gonna spend 1 day on it, and then we're gonna spend 2 days on it next week, and hopefully, without absolutely anything going wrong, we'll be able to turn this car into a showstopper. But before we introduce it to Neil and Josh, look how good it is. This thing is absolutely immaculate inside and out. So we bought this car from our good friends at Dean Motors, and you guys will know that Dean Motors were the business below us when our place burnt down. So it's amazing to be hooking up with them to source this car in this color, and they have the best classic cars, hands down, of anybody else in Ireland. And we said, we need an NSX, we need it 91, we need an early spec, and we need it black. And the black is a very important thing because this car won't be getting a color change. There's no way to do a color change on a car in 3 days, but can we fit the kit, paint the kit, put it on, put the suspension, all that? I'm hoping Neil and Josh are very enthusiastic about it. So we've seen the car, now it's time to get the boys to work.
What do you reckon this is about?
Was an update, kind of congratulate on getting AZ1 though.
Okay, tricky. Get a raise.
Deserve it.
Yeah, we do deserve it, don't we? Yeah.
Yeah, we do.
I reckon that's what he's going to say.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
Act suppressed it.
Okay.
All right, boys, just want to say massive well done on getting the low brain car ready for Riga. That was a pro car build in 2 weeks, and the last 2 weeks you got the AZ1 to paint as well. So as a reward, because we've got a little bit more time left, we're going to build another car for Gravity. We've got a Honda NSX downstairs. We're going to need to wide body it. We're going to need to put suspension on it. We're going to need to do...
What planet are you even on? Like, this is ridiculous. I'm only back here bloody 4 weeks and you expect me to build another car. I haven't slept since I started here. It's outrageous.
Get it on the truck next Thursday, and then it's ready for Gravity.
What did we get? What's up with him? So to put some time's perspective to this, we only finished the AZ1 hours ago actually at this stage. So it's exactly what we wanted. Another ambitious project.
In fairness, Josh, what else would we do?
We need to build up some enthusiasm here. At the end of the day, it is quite cool that we're looking at an NSX right now that we're gonna, well, cut to shit.
No problem, Josh.
Okay, so this has to be ready for Gravity, which is in about 2 weeks. And in that 2 weeks, I'm going off to Drift Masters, and Neil is going off to America. So we have 1 day to get it ready before we put the kit on this car.
Yeah. Oh my God. Anyone who powder coats wheels, please don't powder coat the centre bore.
What a day.
I heard that's the hardest part of building a car. Jeez.
Okay, hard part done. Wheels off. Now to open the parts. So Neil, you ordered these, right?
If it's right, I did. If it's wrong, I didn't.
I have more faith than when Dave orders parts anyways.
Oh, how about wiring?
That makes it easy, right?
USB power.
Okay, so because we have such a short time frame for this, we actually ordered an airlift kit that is specifically for an NSX. So theoretically now, I'm sure you know how it goes with this, that bolt-on parts aren't necessarily bolt-on. Also, just to prove that this is the 90s businessman car, check out that bad boy. I'm sure some Japanese business got done on that phone.
It's gonna be alright.
Okay, so if anyone doesn't really know what air suspension is, it's kind of just like your traditional coilover, but the bag just replaces the spring. Yeah, air suspension's come like a pretty long way in 10 years, I would say, whereas before it was a bit rubbish, but honestly, you can...
Or using truck bags and manual valves and stuff.
But now with this, it's kind of like you wouldn't really notice that you're on air suspension. It just feels like a coilover. So the three main things that the air suspension runs off. So obviously you got your shocks and bags set up. Then you have your tank for the air.
Oh my god!
Lucky you kept the cover on that now.
Yeah, because the cover is bulletproof. Anyway.
Let's glaze over that. And then you have your compressor, which fills up the tank of air, which then fills up the bags. Easy as that.
Simple. Done.
I reckon that's the spot. Try not to drop it, Neil. So you put the tank in the boot.
I think tank, compressor. Ideally, here,
Yeah.
but
There's some moldy old Japanese gadgets. So yeah, so we're gonna mount the tank and the compressor in the boot. And fingers crossed, all the lines and everything will go through the car so easy. They are gonna, would you a bit of good luck?
we definitely are doing a good look.
Right, so let's start off, take off the suspension, which I will say is the most overcomplicated suspension I've ever seen.
I've never seen this before, Josh.
What? The roll bar attached to the suspension. And then if you move over to the front, it's just got arms at all kinds of angles and stuff, which is a pretty cool bit of engineering, I think. Do we need to take this down as well? Okay, so we'll start off as the easy job. Just with some suspension, Neil, yeah?
Yeah, it's handy.
So with the suspension, we can't get it down, so we had to take, well, we're taking the top arm down to see if that get a bit more tension on the matter. And then on the rear, we had to take down the entire top arm.
Oh my god.
Release.
Josh has left us because he's doing a video, editing the video that you've already seen, so that doesn't make any sense. But anyway, we are running the cables for the air tank, and then we have to run the lines afterwards. But first things first. So we need to get the air line from here somewhere to here somewhere. So we're going to drill a hole in the wheel well, put a grommet in. Good job. Ow!
You're a bit of a mare there.
This is front lines and the battery wiring. We're going to run underneath the OEM panel to the front because the battery's in the front, and funnily enough the shocks are in the front as well. Funny enough.
That would make sense.
So that's why I'm lying on the ground underneath the ramp. I'm kind of wishing this ramp would fail.
We're making quite a lot of jokes like this in our videos. It's only because we thought this would be a handy job and... Oh! Your life flashed before your eyes.
Yeah. And all I could remember was the last 2 weeks.
Oh God, what a horrible flash. This is a little trick that you had.
Yeah, my man taught me it.
Only time you probably used a hanger.
Yeah, well, no. Craig told me to use the hanger in the shop one day.
So pretty much that's used to make it easier to poke upwards and grab and pull through.
Because the radiator in the front, Josh, it runs alloy hard pipes all the way to the back of the engine. We followed the route up behind the fuel tank, over into the engine bay, and to the back. Because this is an awkward car because it has an engine and then a boot. Whereas like if this was a normal car, you just have like seats and a boot. Normal car always has an engine and a boot.
Yeah, I was going to say, it seems pretty normal to have an engine and a boot.
All right, it's been a few hours and the boys have been working on the airlift kit for the NSX. And Neil, this was a perfectly attached car when we started here this morning.
Yeah.
I think we'll be by the end of this video.
Oh,
100%.
yeah.
This is like the 100% on the AZ1 videos where, by the end of it,
No, this is actual 100%. Because this is like kit you buy.
Okay, so what we're going to do is let the boys finish off the airlift kit. I'm going to show you some goodies that we're going to be putting into the car. This is day one of a 3-day build on this car, so we have to get 3-day build, everybody. So we are going to get the airlift, which is the biggest job, then the kit is a big job, and then I don't even know how we're going to do this in 3 days. But anyway, the idea is that we're going to get this kit on the car today so it can go up and it can go down. And while I have you guys, I was just thinking back to earlier in the video when we talked about selling cars, and a lot of you guys are probably wondering why we sell cars, why we don't sell cars, and to be honest, a lot of YouTubers don't talk about money because, well, it makes people uncomfortable. But here at Drift Games, we like uncomfortable. So come with me, I want to show you something. We're about to do something that other YouTube channels don't do, and that's show you the inner workings of our business at Drift Games. Now, you would think, with over 435,000 subscribers, over 50 million views, we are YouTube rich. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that is not exactly how our business works, and I'm going to show you why. Now, we are very fortunate. We have amazing cars, amazing experiences, and we've done really, really well. Thanks mostly to our sponsors and all of you guys who watch our videos. But behind the scenes, it's quite complicated, so I've decided to break it down into quite a simple explainer of why we have to sell cars and we can't keep everything. So let me start with how does Drift Games work? How do we make money? Well, there's 3 areas we make money. The first being merchandise. So basically, as you can see, merchandise creates about 20 to 30% profit. That's after tax and shipping. Cost of making merchandise has gone up over a couple of years, but a lot of people think that if we sell 10,000 euros worth of merchandise, we make 10,000 euro. Well, we don't. We make about 2,000 to 3,000 euro, and obviously we have to buy all of that up front, and a lot of it can sit on the shelf, so you sell it when you sell it. So that's our first line of income. The second is probably the biggest misconception, which is YouTube revenue. And I'm going to talk to you about something that you've probably never heard of before, but it's called CPM. Now, CPM has a very complicated name, but what it essentially means is how much do you earn for every 10,000 views or impressions on YouTube. And this is where it can get a little bit confusing. If we were in the USA, for every 10,000 views, we would get about 20 to 30 euro back. In Ireland, though, we only get a quarter of that, which is 5 euro to 15 euro. And that is mostly because advertisers pay a lot more in the US than they do in Ireland. And it's not about your VPN or where you upload the video, it's where your company is based. And as we are based in Ireland and pay all our bills in Ireland, that is where our account is, so we receive a quarter of that ad revenue compared to our US friends. And then how much do you get for a very successful series? Well, you guys have just been watching the AZ1 build on our channel. And that car cost about 65,000 euro to be completed on the channel. And we've done 5 videos on it, and it's done 1.3 million views, which is one of the highest of any car we've ever done on the channel. The amount of money we've made from those 5 videos is 4,200 euro. So as you can see, it doesn't really pay on YouTube to build crazy cars because the car is 65,000 euro. We're definitely not going to sell it, and we're also not going to sell it for 65,000 euro. So we're hoping that we might make some revenue back on merchandising on the AZ1. But as you can see, the videos don't quite equate. And then the third part is your sponsorships. So we have some amazing brands and sponsors on our channel. They're the lifeblood. They're the reason we can do what we do. They believe in us and they believe in the projects we're doing. But your income from sponsors is based on views and content. And you get upfront payments, which is great because you get to invest in Drift Masters or car builds or projects. But the problem is you have to do it. So you have to spend all of that money to return the sponsorship in the first place, whether it's by car building or the time of media. And by time of media, I mean the amount of adverts that you make for those companies, the amount of times it takes shooting all of their products. So even though you make money from sponsorship, you spend a lot of money to make sure those sponsors are happy throughout the year. So what I'm trying to say on our income is, You do sell merchandise, but it costs a lot of money. You do make YouTube revenue, but the thing that you're watching to create the YouTube view is also costing a lot of money. And your sponsorships, well, you've got to do all of this to be able to have sponsors. So that's kind of how our income works. Now, what I'm going to talk about next is the balance. So in our business, we don't just do YouTube videos. We do a lot of different things. We do client work, we do digital marketing, and marketing for events. And all of those things actually pay the overheads for the company, which is like our bills, our mortgage, our loans, our wages, and all that kind of stuff. So kind of this area balances itself. So Drift Games sits in a different area where everything that is made money from these three areas goes into cars, goes into projects, and goes into drifting, which means we have no cash. So we don't keep any reserves, we don't have any profit, we just put all of the money into the cars, which is what you would do, but not a very clever business decision because it all sits in inanimate objects sitting in our workshop. And we love those cars and we don't want to sell them. So you'll notice in this video, we did sell 2 of our cars. And why did we have to do that? Well, it comes to our business decision that comes with Drift Games. So there's 2 different ways that we can do things. We'll start with the low risk. So if we had a low risk YouTube channel, we would build kind of just simple JDM cars. They hold their value super well and they sell well, just like the R33 or the A86. And the most important thing about the low risk is that you get to keep the cars because most things stay on budget. If you buy a Corolla for 30 grand, you spend another 5 grand on it, the car is worth 35 or near to it, you can sell it for that and it's always worth it. You don't need to sell it, so it's on budget. This is how some YouTube channels have operated and how we used to operate in the past. This is a lot less stress. But we decided this year to go high risk, which means we've done Drift Masters, which all of what you spend disappears. Your tires disappear, your fuel disappears, your travel disappears. Everything you break on the car, guess what happens? It disappears. So there's nothing to show for Drift Masters other than the experience of doing it. And also we're building a racetrack. Building a racetrack is a really good business idea, but not if you don't own the land. Because we don't own Mondello Park, we're building a track to use and other people to use in Mondello Park and paying for it. Which is a terrible business decision, but it's very, very cool because it's something we want to do. And risky builds, as I mentioned before, like the AZ1. It's a high risk build. You guys might have all thought that was the stupidest car ever. Nobody watched it, but we still have to build it for 65 grand, even if we know nobody's interested. And this means that a lot of these things go over budget. So when they go over budget, it's like Drift Masters, when you break cars or crash cars, the racetrack is already, I'm gonna say it's gonna go about 50 grand over budget by the time we're finished in November. You have no cash to get yourself out of trouble. So the only way you can get yourself out of trouble in Drift Games is by selling the cars. So that is why the A86 and R33 have to go. And we pick those cars that we sell based on, are we using them that have we done all the videos we're going to do on them? Is there anything more to do? Is there any more crazy stuff to come along the way? And on both of those cars, there wasn't. So what we're moving on to now is showing you the decision and how it can affect this business. So either way, whether we do low risk or we do high risk, we have 0 profit. All we do is either keep the cars that are lower value, or we might have to sell some cars that are higher value. Either way, all the money goes back into the assets. And then you've got the trade-off of dreams. These are dreams. Building our own racetrack, competing with a massive team in Drift Masters, and building the wildest one-off cars, that's a dream. But it is also a lot of stress because this is a lot less stress. If I was going to build a K-Series powered S15, I would know A, how much it's all going to cost up front. I would know B, it will achieve, it will happen, and it will work. There's no question marks, it's just how long it takes. And we know at the end what it's worth. And then you've got to trade another thing, which is stuff versus experience. So having a bunch of cars and a creative element of just a load of JDM cars sitting in our workshop, that's great, we have loads of stuff. But they're all kind of, I'm not going to say dull, but they're not exactly the most exciting thing to us because they're all kind of the same thing. Whereas over here, this is all about experience. The experience of building a racetrack, the experience of building a car that nobody else has built, and the experience of going head to head with the best drivers in the world in Drift Masters. So as I said, these are the 2 areas that we go. Now a high risk means that you go over budget, but you're probably going to increase your merchandise, your YouTube revenue, and your sponsorships because it's more exciting. But a low risk, you will probably not have as high merchandise, YouTube, or sponsorship money, but you don't have to spend as much. So therefore, you end up in the same place. So what we're trying to do is be high risk to sort of push the boat out, do something that's exciting to us and leave our mark behind us because, as I can see, we're helping other people to have a great time too, including our Drift Masters team like Connor Falvey, the racetrack where loads of other people can come and enjoy it with us. And all these builds that are wild and entertaining that you're watching on the channel, I think are a little bit more fun than just having a bunch of cars. So I hope that explains how the Drift Games model works. This is a very simplified version. But before you hit the comments about me selling cars and why I'm selling them and they never had a chance, remember, cars like the 86 were never going to be sold until this went over budget. And then I have no choice but to sell them because I don't have any cash. And that might make things a little bit easier if you guys understand why we buy and sell so many cars on the channel, because we don't have a crystal ball and we never know 1 month to the next what something's going to cost. So that's all that explained. Let's move back down to the NSX and see how the boys are getting on. Alright, so it is Tuesday evening. Tomorrow morning we fly to Germany to Ferropolis for Iron Drift King, where Connor and I are competing in the 6th round of Drift Masters. And then we come back on Sunday, and that gives us 3 days to completely finish the NSX before it gets loaded on Thursday morning for the Gravity Show. I'm just going to say all that because that's how stupid this idea is. But 1 day in, boys look tired.
Tired but successful.
Tired but successful day. So in order to make any progress on the AZ1, it took us at least 16 billion hours.
Yeah.
But I'm saying that we had to have the air in this car by the end of today. Neil, have we got the air in the car? We are about to see. So she's at stock height right now. Here we go. Hey! Oh man. That looks unbelievable. Jesus, low on the front. That is like, look at that. Can't even get a Jordan under there. And we haven't put a lip on this yet.
Nope.
This was, I think probably there's 2 big jobs here. 1 is the body kit and 2 is the air. The air is now complete. It's not set up yet because obviously this isn't the right height we'll run the car at because we haven't got the kit on and we don't have the wheels on. So wheels, kit, interior, alignment, painting. Oh, we've some steering wheel. There's a lot of bits now.
Tick one thing off the list.
One thing is ticked off the list. So, as I said, guys, at the start, this car is going to be launched on our stand at Gravity in Birmingham on the Saturday. And then the minute it goes live on the stand, it goes live on Lucky Day competitions. Now, you can see a little bit of the vision of where we're going here, but this is probably one of the least dramatic parts of the build because it's still on stock wheels, still on stock body. We are going to be completely changing that next week because we are still waiting for customs to release the body kit customs, all bloody 6 weeks of customs, every single time. Customs, every time. We give you all the paperwork, why were you over to give us our stuff? Sorry. Whew. Anyway, we are going to, sorry Neil, it's been a long 6 weeks of customs. I feel like we've just been communicating with morons for weeks. Anyway, the kit will be here soon. You guys will see what it is. And it's also going to be, I think it's a 101. I think this is going to be a 101 when it's done. I think it's going to be, we have a look, we've discussed it.
Yep.
Of what we think is going to work on this car, and then obviously next week we're going to have to finish this and the AZ1 in 3 days. I forgot the AZ1 is just back. Anyway, we're going to Germany. We're going to forget about this for a while. We're going to leave Neil here for a little bit of buttoning up, and next time we see him he will be on the floor, perished, crying. And I've got to say, if you pull this off, that means we'll have built a full drift car from scratch in 2 weeks, a full AZ1 from scratch in 2 weeks, and an NSX in less than a week. So in 5 weeks we'll have built 2 one-of-one show cars and a full drift car. We used to be like that length of time doing coilovers about 3 years ago, so this is really, really good going from all the boys. But we've got a big final push to come. We hope you guys have enjoyed the reveal of the car, but I guarantee you this is the boring part and the exciting bit is yet to come next week. Next up, drifting in Germany, and as I said, if you haven't subscribed, please do, because it helps us here at the channel and it's free. And if you want to grab some Drift Games merch, we really appreciate that as well, because it obviously keeps the lights on, keeps the boys working, and pays for a lot of Red Bulls and hopes and dreams. So we'll see you on the next one, and we'll see you in Germany.